All right, welcome to another episode from the Chart Reader. So I did want to post this over the weekend on Friday, but I actually got to spend some time with my parents, so I had to push this till today. But looking at the weed sector review covering Tilray, CGC, High Tide, and MSOS on this one. So, man, Tilray has just been it's all about the 8 moving average, right? It's what I've been talking about. What seems like what 1 2 now, a full 3 weeks, right? So something really big needs to happen here, because I think it's safe to say we're about to make another death cross right there, right? So I'll talk about that in a little more shortly. CGC, okay, CGC at the very minimum is trying to change my reverse split opinions better than it was. It still has an inability to confirm, and I still need to maintain a little bit of worry and skepticism until it just proves a little more. But again, it's actually doing better. I just need a little bit more, okay? High Tide, man, my last video was essentially confirmation of what the earnings really was. And we get a doji and a doji before what seems like the real confirmation. But again, we need one more candle, and Monday is going to be a really, really important one for High Tide, all right? And then lastly, MSOS, just a juggernaut. It has been ripping and ripping and ripping. And again, you don't hear those words with an ETF. And again, ETFs don't go crazy, but my goodness, all right? So we'll talk about all that and more shortly, but what are we going to do? Same thing we always do, right? We're going to take a look at the daily and the weekly to see how these things are setting up short term. We have our 5 moving averages. There are horizontal support and resistance lines that I do draw manually myself. And then when we are done up here, we'll use the MACD, RSI, and volume as our lower indicators. Hey, really quickly, if you can please subscribe to this channel, share this video online with your friends, comment good or bad if you disagree. Look, anything you can do helps me so much with these YouTube algorithms, especially if you can click that share button. My socials are growing, but man, most of you have way bigger socials, and if you just click that thing, amazing things do happen here, all right? So let's talk about Tilray. And look, I was super bullish on this thing pretty much since, I'd even call it right here, late November. Just doing nothing but staying over, I'm going to say that one more time, staying over the 8 moving average, this green line, and the 20 as well. Because I always say it, the 8 and the 20, when they are your friends, oh my goodness, all they're going to do is help you go up. Otherwise, not that long. And look, hey, let me show this one too, right? Wasn't that long. Man, I can even still go back. We did the exact same thing right here, just bouncing on the 8 and the 20, little scare, but it kept going. And again, one bad candle is scary. You need 2 to confirm. Otherwise, hey, you never know what's going to happen, right? So the 8 and the 20 are really good friends until they're not. And you lose it here, and all of a sudden, oh my goodness, all of a sudden you just can't get back over those lines for literally more than a month. From the 18th, beyond the 18th, all the way to, like I said right here, you can almost say that was actually 2 months, right? Because it basically goes from September 18th all the way to little past November 18th, right? So bad things happen under that line, and under both lines especially, right? And that became my fear. I always say it. Listen, I always say it has nothing to do with this one specifically, but it is very much inclusive of this one. Earnings are crazy. Earnings will take away some of the most strong and sustained uptrends, some of the best good technicals, and just wipe it all away. It is what it is. It happens very quickly. It's sad, right? And what looked like it might have tried, 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 just can't get over it. And to me, it's what, like I said, I started the video with, I've been echoing it for the last couple weeks, okay? The one thing I did say, and I'm still kind of saying it, I am still saying it, but again, it's getting a little harder and harder to say it as the weeks and weeks progress, as well as as the volume does this, okay? Over the last 4 days, 3 of the 4 have been bad volume sells, and it's seemingly growing. Okay, one thing I talked about on the earnings day is I was a little surprised that it was going down after bad earnings. Generally, it actually goes up, and as it goes up, the sell gets crazier, okay? This thing is now maybe starting to pick up, and that might be bad as it propels things, okay? I've been saying, I'm going to say it one more time, I think I'm still okay as long as it does not go below $1.72. I think this right here is going to be my really scary line, because from there, I don't even want to draw it yet, all right? But that's where we start talking about and worrying about $1.50, and that's where we start talking about and worrying about a stock that if it loses $1.50, goes back down all-time lows, right? So, you know, Tilray to me, and I always say this, I'm not going to stop saying this either, even though kind of different things are happening now, right? But Tilray to me was always the king of the charts. And it's good that other weed stocks, some on this chart, right, like MSOS at the very minimum and all the things within that ETF, right? But some stocks are doing well in the weed sector as Tilray is going down for pushing a month now. Actually, not exactly yet, right? But one more week and we're basically at a month of downtrend since earnings. Excuse me, I couldn't get that out, right? So it's good for the sector, in my opinion. It's obviously very bad for Tilray holders, right? So, yeah, definitely not the bullishness from November. Definitely what I called a more neutral thought. And again, I think this, what day was this, Thursday? I think this Thursday right here kind of shows why it's neutral in my head. Like there's a decent number of red, 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 green, 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 red, 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 green, 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 red, red, red. Like there are some fast movers here. There's definitely a lot of moving averages, and you know I don't like that, right? But you know, I'm neutral. Maybe this 190 can help bounce it up. It's done it before. I'm neutral because, hey, maybe we come back down here and bounce up again. You know, there's things that could still happen. Once that slips, it's dangerous, all right? Look, this is a little bit of a scary weekly too. I'm going to just zoom back real quick. The fifth one's up here, so I to zoom out so much. 1, 2, 3, 4. We are under all 5 moving averages. We've been under all 5 moving averages on the weekly for a month now. It's been 4 physical weeks, right? That's a bad candle. That's not confirmation. That's not confirmation. That's kind of an interesting doji. It's an interesting doji because it's actually under but on the line. I think next week has a lot of reason to make me think it, man, and you can see, I think that might be where we wicked. 183 actually went lower. Look at that. The week came as low as 182. But if I'm looking at the top of this, what is this? This middle of November weekly candle, it's almost half of this early December. It's almost half of this early November. I think 183 is an important line, and we might close down there. Otherwise, we really, 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 really need to close at least at 196 by Friday. All right. Again, to me, I'm talking more about this 172 on the daily. Just in all honesty, I don't think I'm touching this thing until 204. Because by 204, I imagine the 100 is going to come down. I think that this 200 will still stay up. Ooh, excuse me, a little hiccup. My apologies. I think that 204 will put us over the 4 moving averages, will put us in this nice little red, 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 green, 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 red, red, red candle, like channel, we'll call it, right? It's not really a big channel, but it's something. If this thing can get over 212, 213, I think that's going to be the real money line, all right? So Tilray not doing spectacular. It hasn't been. My worry has been all about the 8 moving average, all right? This is a stock that knows how to fail the 8 as well as it knows how to break the 8. You know what I mean? So don't underestimate that green little line right there. Let me know your thoughts. Let me know your opinions, even if you disagree. Otherwise, let's move into CGC, all right? Hey, really quickly, if you can please subscribe, please share the video. It does wonders for these algorithms, all right? CGC, listen, I know there are a lot of CGC faithful, and you know I'm not here to ever hate on a stock. I'm not here to ever wish bad things on a stock. I don't do options, all right? I buy when things look good, all right? My concern has been has been, one more time, my concern has been this 1 for 10 reverse split that happened middle to late December. All right. Middle to late December wasn't that long ago. All right. Yeah, it's definitely been a couple months, but really it's only been a couple months. To me, it's not super fresh, but this is still fresh enough to worry about. All right. And it's made an attempt to go over. It's made an attempt to go over, to go over, to go over. And what am I talking about going over? It's the 8 and the 20 moving average. All right. All of a sudden, the last couple week and a half of trading, right? You can even kind of say the week. It's probably first on Monday, right? But we actually get over the 8 and the 20, okay? And lo and behold, we can't confirm. We actually lose the 8 moving average on this Wednesday. Do we lose it? Are we on it? We're on it. All right, interesting. Nonetheless, you know I want back-to-back candles, right? So once again, it tries to give me a good candle on Thursday saying, hey, look, I want to get back over. Unfortunately, again, on Friday, couldn't confirm and actually obviously closes below both lines, right? So CGC, listen, I started the video with it. I'm going to say it again. Clearly, this attempt to get over the 8 and the 20 is not as good as this attempt to get over the 8 and the 20. To me, an attempt over the 8 and the 20, whether it's a decent one, a bad one, or an average one, an attempt's nothing more than an attempt. And I really need the stock to make me believe, especially when my concerns are as loud as a reverse split concern generally is. Listen, I'm a short-term swing trader, right? I know there are people that have actually kind of said some decent reasonings for this 1 for 10 reverse split. The simplification of what a few different comments are, you know what, CGC had some bad financials, they made some hard decisions, and they, you know, are looking for the future to not make them again, and this reverse split kind of helps it. Hey, look, I'm not here to justify why a company does it. I'm not here to argue against anyone that thinks they're good. To me, a reverse split, regardless if it's a 3-letter, 4-letter, 5-letter stock, regardless if it's a big bad boy or a big bad girl, or if it's a very, very small up-and-comer, reverse splits are rough. They're generally more than rough. They're actually sustainably bad, generally, all right? So I'm still here not believing. All right, I need the stock to make me believe. And again, I think this Friday close under, a little concerning, right? Again, you can't let a single bad candle scare you, right? So we'll see what happens. But to me, it's less the single candle and it's more the inability to confirm, right? So yeah, there's a decent uptrend. I know a couple people also mentioned that. I can see that too, right? But I'm telling you, to me, I care way more about these two moving averages, especially until this is, I mean, I don't really have a timeline for when like a reverse split is forgotten, right? Like if I really did have one, I would say it. But to me, it's I think more than a quarter. I think you need a little more than 3 months, right? Like let the quarter pass, let them say something on the next earnings, right? Like, I don't know whether it's, hey, we're never going to do it again, whether it's like, hey, we've done good things since, I don't know, right? But I'm just, I need let me say it this way. I always say set a high criteria, all right? You work hard for your money. Make a stock work hard for your money too, all right? Don't just throw it at some random couple letters, you know what I mean? And when I say random, I'm not trying to like insult anyone that does like deep fundamentals, right? Because obviously it's not as random to you as it is to me, right? But again, set some high criterias for a stock to take the money that you work really hard for, right? Because man, we've seen it, just not it, just this, like just we've seen the market take away a lot generally quicker than it brings, you know what I mean? So just a perspective, let me know your thoughts. Look, I'm really not going into the weekly too much on this. To me, we're still very much day to day. One thing I think I might have talked about, if I didn't, I feel bad, but look, there's a thing, and it happens more on the daily. All right, you can see it way more on the daily. You fall away from the 8, you come to the 8. This one broke it, right? But you go away, you come up, you go away. Let me go one where there isn't a line, right? You come down, you go to it. You come down, you go to it. You come down, you go to it. You come down, you go to it, right? On the weekly, we're kind of seeing the same thing a little bit. We fell down from it, we came back to it, right? I don't think anything matters on CGC until this thing can break maybe 480-ish. If you're looking in the box over there, 478's the 8 moving average. Give me 480-ish. Let me believe that we've broken that, all right? CGC, look, let me know your thoughts. Let me know your opinions. Otherwise, you know it. I appreciate you so much. Let's come into high tide, all right? Very quickly, if you can please let me know. That's not what I want to say. I wanted to ask you to subscribe and share, not let me know your thoughts. Sorry about that. But yeah, if you can share, oh man, it does wonders. Okay. Oof. High tide. This is really interesting. All right. The first thing I want to do before I say the next couple comments is, look, I am not an economics expert. I am not a financial expert. I did not take like finance classes in college. I am not a finance person in my like profession, all right? There were a number of comments, all right? There actually were not a lot. So let me take that back. It wasn't like I saw the word a lot, but there were at least 2 people that were talking about an impairment on high tide, all right? Listen, do I know what an impairment is? Am I even confident I'm saying the word 100% right? No to both, okay? There was concerns of this impairment that happened a couple quarters ago, maybe last quarter. I don't even really know the timing of it, all right? But their main answer was that was the echoing concern of this earnings, okay? I talked about this candle so much. So the earnings was on Tuesday the 30th. All right. Tuesday the 30th. So on Monday, we close at 193. The green number on top. It's actually exactly where I'm clicking right now. We opened earnings day. We gapped up to $1.98. Dropped all the way down to what? My goodness, 170 something, low 170s, and then came all the way back up to where we eventually closed, just under the 8, obviously over the 20 moving average, right? To me, this was the craziest reaction I've seen to earnings. Generally, you do not, I've seen the gap ups and fall. All right, I'm telling you, I have seen that. It's actually the meanest thing an earnings could do. I would much rather a gap down so that you're not fooled and then just keep going, right? Just me personally as a short-term trader. I rarely see such a recovery. And to me, it just screamed. This is not a doji by any means, shape, or form. This is more of a doji, right? It's when the body is small, not big like this. But this screamed uncertainty to me. And I kept saying, look, we need to close over 190 or under 180. All right, those were basically my money numbers for me to believe that the reaction was actually bad and it wants to keep going up, or for me to think that the reactions was not good and it's going to keep going down. To me, this is a scary Friday. Now listen, you don't let one bad candle scare you, but MACD is starting to diverge really badly, all right? Diverge just means 2 lines going away from each other. I like it when the green diverges up, not down, right? It's like a traffic light. Green is good, red is bad. We're seeing the green want to go down. I'm seeing a baby divergence on this RSI too. And we're not that far from that 0 line, right? So we might diverge below the 0. I am hoping this does not go any lower than 168 to 163, okay? If this loses 160, that's where things get scary. That's where we might come actually below this 150 and maybe all the way down to the 200, all right? I think we're seeing the real reaction from the earnings right here. I think that's a little rough. Again, I don't know much about the impairment. I don't know if I'm saying it right. Again, I can't keep like joking about that, but it seems like an interesting answer to what look like good earnings otherwise, all right? And I've said it all the time. Normally, to me, it's EPS, earnings per share. Normally, there's one little random, like, bad little, like, bullet in a sea of good news that brings a candle down. Normally, it's earnings per share in my head. This impairment thing seems like a logical maybe to me, right? Especially if I'm seeing it come from multiple people. So, you know, I think the comment also was the same thing happened on CGC, and it might have been a gap down to one of the more recent earnings. Maybe this one right here. I don't know if that's actually what it was. Maybe this one right here. Again, I'm not really 100% sure, but I think there was a comparison to CGC as well, all right? Look, high tide I think is less about the weekly chart and more about the daily chart. I actually am not even sure this is about the 100 moving average, all right? I really think this was that 190, 180 line, and again, let's see how Monday confirms, all right? There's a shot this comes to like mid to low 160s. Hopefully no lower than that, all right? Let me know your thoughts. Let me know your opinions. Otherwise, we're going to end it here, and we're ending it on a positive. Look at this thing. Like, look at this thing, right? Like, this is an ETF. ETFs, like, okay, this is what I want to do. Let's go to the Discord. Let's go to ETF. Boom. This is where I was talking about it. All right, look. Doc has been loving this MSOS growth, right? Like I've been talking about MSOS for a minute now, and all it's been doing is going up, right? So I'm sure there are more than just this one person, but there are a bunch of people just loving. All right. One thing I talked about was when you're looking at an ETF you like, find the details and look at those. Find the movers and look at those. All right. TCNNF, all right, I believe this one's TrueLeave, if I'm not mistaken, but TrueLeave is a multi-state operator. This MSOS is an ETF of multiple state operators, and if this thing's going up, you got to imagine more than half are going up, and if you can find the nice ones, it's even better. Look, TCNNF, all right, remember, this thing's basically been going up since middle of, let's call it late, let's call it since Christmas onward, all right? Pretty much, not quite Christmas onward, but a little after, this thing has started to go, and I think it's fair to say that this thing is going up a lot higher and a lot faster. This thing's actually almost doubled, going from 6 to 11, right? So TrueLeave is a big reason MSOS is going up. Look, nope, it's CuraLeaf, sorry, my apologies. Cura has basically been going up almost exactly since this middle of Christmas uptrend, right? Not as big, but hey, going from 4 to 5, going from 4 to higher than 5 is clearly more than a 25% growth, right? So again, when MSOS goes up, why not take a peek at what's moving it and you know, try to like play that a different way, right? But look at this thing. We have now taken down this moving average. We have not, we have now taken out this resistance line. We wicked this resistance line. You know, wicks don't count as much, right? But one thing I talked about, red, green, red, green, like this looked like a fast channel. And I mean, I think it's fair to say that it was, right? So, this thing has been doing this, and I was talking about this too, going up, coming to the 8, going up, coming to the 8, going up, kind of coming to the 8, going up, kind of coming to the 8, going up. We might come back down to the 8 before we go up. Again, I don't think that there's anything wrong with that, and a good thing that I like is if we lose the 8, coming down to the 20 is not a drastic drop, and that's generally a good thing because I always talk about these two working as a pair, all right? Where are we on the weekly? Ooh. Oof. Oh my gosh, there are two things I'm loving. Oh my gosh, there are multiple things that I am loving on this. All right, so MSOS weekly. First and foremost, when I click here, there are only 4 moving averages. All right, this is clearly only a single candle. We need a little bit more. But when you're over all the moving averages on the daily and on the weekly, it's hard for me to think anything but weekly uptrend and weekly sustainability. We have a MACD and an RSI that are both diverging. We have a positive MACD. We have beautiful volume. I mean, there is a lot to like here. It's definitely very fair to say that that's a high RSI at the 84. How high were you? 70 somethings. Interesting. Oh man, I mean, I don't know if this really counts, but yeah, obviously it's gone really. This is an interesting one. Look, this thing might break this and keep running. I think we'll see what 1050 does. All right, don't get too I don't know what the word, aggressive, I don't know what the word is, right? Things look beautiful, right? But even when they look beautiful, sometimes you need a little bit of a healthy cool down, and nothing wrong with that, I promise you, all right? And again, let me just send it one more time. This might come as low as 970. I think that's a fair maybe. Where's 970 at? That thing says 870. Hopefully not as low as 870. But yeah, hopefully 970 to like 950 are the lowest this thing goes. All right. Let me know your thoughts. Let me know your opinions. Otherwise, you know it. I appreciate you so much.